Hey guys, lycheepunnet here. I'm here with El Presidente and Teru, and we're going to go over the new Dog Days Double Dash Extra Booster recently released. Teru is our resident doge expert,
It's
and
true.
yeah, it's true. And we'll be using our rating system introduced last video. I'll quickly run over it for people who aren't familiar. We've got just a few ratings, not like A plus to F or anything. We've just got good cards, so self-explanatory. They're good. You'll start them in your deck. Playable cards. These can make up a lot of your deck, but they aren't anything to wow at. They're not super special, but they are very serviceable. Then our next rating is niche. So these cards are good, but you need to support them, or they're not for everybody, and you might need to take risks you don't want to take when playing these cards. And finally, we have the bad rating, which is for cards that are either outclassed or actively contribute to you losing. We've also got one more rating on the side. It's the meta rating, which is these cards are what make you want to play the set at all. Now, in the case of this booster, since it's an expansion, there may not be as many meta cards as there are in a standalone booster, but I think we'll probably find a couple anyway.
Hmm.
Uh, yep, so these guys haven't actually said anything because reasons, but you guys might want to say hello.
Sup? I am here as always, because I do the video recordings.
I'm here because I've played Dog Days since the first set, and I'm very excited for an expansion with good cards that don't make me cry.
When was the last time a set made you cry?
In a good or a bad way.
We'll say bad first.
Well, my first deck was Melty Blood. Uh,
I'm sorry for your loss. Was my first set as well, actually.
Excellent.
I don't know, my first set was Fate English Zero, so that was fun.
It's better than Melty Blood.
Yes.
I'm not sure it is,
Maybe.
but
Alexander, the clock kicker. Come
oh
on.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
That,
it's
that
better than
clock kicker is very good, but
better than Melty.
jumping right into Doge Days.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
first card.
yeah, so my browser's kill itself. So this first card is Covert. Is that right? Covert? Coup. I'm
Just,
gonna call it Coup.
Ku. Yeah, that's what everyone calls her.
Yeah. So Coup, beloved lord. She's a 00500 doubler. All of your other hero and royalty traits, I uh, I think we're missing a trait there. Um,
Um,
all of your all of
yeah.
your other hero and royalty traits gain 500. It's got shift level 0, so you can pull it out of your clock and replace it with a yellow card in your hand.
At the beginning
And
of your
one
main phase.
cost at the beginning of your main phase, yes. And one cost, tap this, choose a yellow card in your clock, add it to your hand, and then put the top two cards of your library in your clock. It's a really gimpy Ricky slash Akane effect.
Except it's on startup, which is
Correct.
what's
So
relevant.
it's more like Takitsubo then, I
Yeah.
guess.
I would like directly, well, I guess not directly. It's very similar to the Homura clock salvage thing from Rebellion,
But that
except
one's not repeatable.
it's not repeatable, and you can use this one when you're at like X6 and not
Oh
like
yeah,
screw yourself out of
Yeah.
a card, which is
that's
really
true.
important.
So I think this card is good, honestly. Like,
I have it written as good, but you do really need a lot of yellow cards for this to be good. And
yeah,
thankfully we
It's
do
good.
have good yellow cards for her.
Yeah, it also interacts with the yellow early
Level
play,
3.
which
Yeah,
is
so this is
another point towards it.
that card is good, so this card gets better.
yep. Um,
I noticed it doesn't actually support animal traits, which makes it not as quite as
Okay.
good for the old yellow
well,
cards.
I thought the old build was royalty
No,
though.
wait, I can't. Can I just give like a little disclaimer for the
Go
uninitiated
for it.
on Dog Days? So, Dog Days has a sort of, as of set two, it's sort of had a weird split in traits. The yellow stuff, more or less, is centered around the royalty trait, and the hero trait. Hero is in red, yellow, and green. Royalty is only really in yellow and green, and then animal is in all three, but the only support like for the animal trait shows up in red and green. So it's kind of weird.
Right.
Does the Leo give power to a specific trait or just any character?
The plus 2,000 can go to any character. The tap for 1,500 is to an animal.
So the
Okay.
card they're talking about is Leo Fair and Square, which is the much vaunted original anti-salvage that's
Wait, is that the original anti-salvage? Did Capo have its anti-salvage first? And Persona had its anti-salvage first for sure. Persona 3 had an anti-salvage. Or 4.
the
4.
original
Um,
Persona 4 anime had one
Yeah.
which came after Dog Days,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
No, I
And
think
it
the
was
Risei was first, actually.
Was it? Okay, fine. This was the original good anti-salvage because it comes down level 1.
Well,
Yeah.
it also doesn't get you stock, it just makes you win fights.
Yeah, there is a 1-1 Takapa 1 and a 1-1 LBA 1, which all give you stock, but this one lets you just win the field. It's very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, but that card only supports animal trait, which makes deck building a little hard because that card is very good, and I feel you probably want to support it.
Yeah. It largely means that if you're running
prob-
the Leo fair and square, that heroes are going to be an issue. Putting
Like,
them
the
into your
problem-
Because
deck.
there are a lot of good hero level ones.
So, like, for Leo, I just have issues with the card because, for one, I think you're adding more back rows to, like, a set that already has a bunch of back rows you probably want to be running. And not being able to support your Nanami Clock Encore, which will probably be your main level 1 beater, is not very great.
Yep.
That's how I see it.
This card does support that though, right?
Yes, Nanami is a hero. So the Ku will boost the Nanami, but the Leo won't.
Mm.
So it basically means that you're going to have a harder time getting over
It's a
on
little
your own
sad.
turn. Well, regardless, I think this card is good.
Card is good.
Yeah, this
I
card is
agree.
really
The best
good.
comparison would be the Takatsubo. If the money counter was in yellow as opposed to in blue, I would probably give this a meta rating to go with it.
I
But
think this is worse than Taketsubo.
it is worse because you're
Searching all espers is much better than giving global 500.
one. There's context. You got to search all espers. Two, there's card selection issues where the best you can get is out of 6 cards. But in reality, because I don't think this is a monocolored deck, you're probably looking at anywhere from 4 to even as low as 2 card targets in your clock.
But you only do run good yellow cards, so your choices
Um,
generally won't be bad.
And because Dog Days has this silly
Well, it has a fun
clock
gimmick.
matters gimmick, like you can set up your
Mm.
clock in ways, and you can also fish the new yellow event back
Yeah,
out of your
there's-
clock with this, which is funny.
Yeah, it says card, not character. There's also that support which lets you swap cards from your waiting room to clock, so it's kind of like if you have that in your hand, this kind of searches your waiting room as well.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think that support is very good because that means you're running
Yeah,
global 500s at 0 and 500 to fronts at 0, and that just kind of takes away from good cards you could be running.
I guess that's true. But that is a utility option.
The shift is a really nice bonus for me, though. I think that's an absolutely phenomenal
Yeah,
effect in
shift
general.
shift is just good, especially on a good level 0 support.
Because it just means that like you can
Yeah.
clock this as your first card, and if you happen to draw like a level 3 you can't use, you just shift it. It's like,
Pretty much, it's like the safest thing you could possibly clock unless you're at 0-6 or whatever.
yeah. It's a
Anyway,
little bit awkward with the early play given its condition, but it's honestly whatever.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement. This card is fine.
Yep.
So we'll move on to the next one.
Boom. The level 3.
This is Rebecca, Hero of Pastelage. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this properly.
Eh.
It's a 3-2-9-5. If you've got the above Q support in your clock, this
Rip Elf.
gets -1 level 1 in your hand. When it attacks, you choose one of your characters. That character gains 4,000 power. And when the battle opponent of this becomes reversed, if Demon God Crystal, which is the wind climax, is in the climax zone, deal damage to your opponent and send this to memory. Then at the start of your next draw phase, choose one copy of this card in your memory, put it on any slot in the stage, and that character gains 3,500.
So this is like an absolutely enormous amount of on-reverse text.
This is like a weird combination between the Sorakake level 3 and the level 3
From
Miyu from Ilya is what
That's
I was
it.
going to say.
Okay. Regardless, this card is good to me as well. Honestly, I think this is better than the Mihi that you would run before. That I think was just on reverse pay one burn.
It was
No,
pay two
it's pay
burn.
two,
Sorry,
but it's
on
also
reverse
on the
pay two
opponent's
burn.
turn.
Yeah, you
It's on the
get both
opponent's turn.
turns, but in this case, I just like everything about it. One, you're denying your opponent a reverse target. Two, she's just outrageously huge for no reason. Three, the early play condition in Doge days in particular is completely free.
I
Given
wouldn't say completely free, but
I
it's
wouldn't say
very
very
completely free,
easy
to
to
achieve.
set up. It's
Not
very
diff-
easy to set up in my mind. Like
Mm,
given the clock encore from waiting room.
yeah, like this card is clearly very good,
Like,
but I do have some reservations. It is kind of small if you don't have the climax combo.
It still has
Kind
the
of small
4K
as in
pump.
no, it's kind of small on the opponent's turn.
Oh,
Of
sure.
course, it's going to beat the crap out of everything, but yeah, so that's one issue. The second issue is even if you do pull the climax combo off, you're handing your opponent a free empty row, which gives them more value. This is oftentimes a good thing, especially if you're playing clock kicks or whatever in the same deck. I don't know if you would, but you could. But
oh, I
it
totally
is,
would.
yeah, it is just opening up yourself to take more damage that you don't necessarily want to take. It's the same issue as every time machine clone in
Are
existence.
there any maze in this comment? In this effect?
No, it's all
No,
mandatory.
it's all
So if you
mandatory.
actually do manage to kill something, you cannot choose to not send it to memory.
Correct.
No, goes to memory.
That's
That
awkward,
ability
actually.
is, yeah, the ability is okay. The damage is obviously good, and the time machining is, yeah, I'm not that impressed with it because it's with a climax that you need to draw, or you need to be running pants, but pants does not go
But
in
you
this
can
deck.
you can get the yellow climax from your clock using the
Yeah,
the
but
0-0.
getting climax from clock is really
It meant that you had
overstated.
to have clocked it at some point,
Yeah, or taking it as
or
refresh
clock
damage, which is
encore
just not
into it.
likely.
No,
No, you can only put characters, I believe, with
Oh
the
yeah.
clock
no, yeah, I
encores.
And
forgot all
there's
the
no
clock encores in that
traditional
way. There's no
clock
traditional
encore.
clock encore in Dog
Yeah.
Days.
So I am not exactly in love with this card, but I think it is very good. It's very strong, and
I think this card is just good.
uh,
I have no issues with the card that make it like unplayable for me.
have you ever played with a time machine clone?
Yes, I play Index, remember?
Okay, sure, sure.
So
But
to me, being a time machine clone, like, it's bad, but it's not as bad as I think you're making it out to be. To me,
I'm scarred from playing Miku,
okay, but were you like fielding 3 time machines?
maybe.
I don't think I would be fielding like 3 of these like
This
all
is
the
true,
time.
yeah.
Like
I think
the
this card
index
is a
one,
fine finisher.
like
The Index
as a,
one works because you only generally have one of them killing something a turn.
exactly. That's how I see it. Like I
Well, the
was
next one is good because
Your
it's
other
just
two
free
slots, your
advantage.
other two slots are cheap advantage and get big.
Mm.
sure, but I don't know. I'm like very excited by this card. I'm really
You
looking
reckon?
forward to trying it out.
Yeah, I've only got it listed as good because that's what it is.
I think it's a very good card.
Yeah,
I think
no,
the
but
only
like
thing that could have made it better is if the traits were better.
Why
Hero is fine.
she trait?
I just think Animal was like a better trait overall because of the Leo
But
interaction.
she's not an
yeah,
animal.
but she's a human.
I know
So
she is
she
human.
just wouldn't even have animal.
She is human, but that's not the issue that I'm having with it.
So
Yeah, no,
also,
that's fair.
just this is me personally in my own little microcosm of my meta, but like I'm not too worried about Leo not being good. Like I've been telling myself I'm probably not going to play Leo because like of the fucking Tool of Rue boogeyman that scares everyone else out of playing doors.
Hmm.
Like just in my experience, there are very few people who play like salvage reliant decks, and I'm one of them. And I'm not going to be playing myself in a tournament or anything.
This is true though. Like it's very rare these days to see like heavy salvage reliant
That's
decks.
fair enough. I'm still not completely sold on this.
Yeah,
I
it's-
like this card.
I like this card.
it's better than other early play options the set had.
I mean, you are going to
That's
be a
fair.
little bit frustrated if you don't have the combo, because it is probably going to die on opponent's turn. And then you get really sad if you get, like, anti-changed at level 2.
Yeah, but just run the hexproof assist.
Yeah, I guess.
That's
Hex-
firmly in the center. Or you can play that stupid event, which I'm still petrified of.
But yeah, I think it's a good card.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this card is it's good. I think this will probably eventually be your end game. It seems strong enough to do that. I've got my own misgivings, but you don't have to take them
I
seriously.
just think
Well, not
Climax
every
combo
card
on
has to
reverse
be
burn
perfect.
is just such a good effect in general, though.
Mm.
Especially
Yeah,
if,
like-
like, if you don't die, right? Like, you manage to somehow not die with, like, let's say you full field this because you have balls of steel. If you somehow don't die, you do get a second chance the next turn, because there's no way they can reverse their things against an empty field.
This is
Yeah.
true, but you do need the climax again if you want to
Yeah.
actually deal extra damage.
I don't know how good the digging
mean, like,
ability
even-
in Doge's is.
Even
Not
more
good.
realistically, you can just sort of switch your finisher over to the clock kicker, I guess,
Sure,
after you like run away with the time machine effect.
this is true.
The clock kick gets big with hero and animal, right?
Yes.
So like everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair
Yeah.
enough.
Like hero animal is the best spread, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
Seems that
All
way.
right.
Well,
Yeah, this seems fine. Next card.
Yep.
This is the weird, not weird. It's just a searcher, right?
yeah, it's just a
It's
memory,
a memory
searcher.
searcher that mills 3 when it comes into play.
So it's 0, 0 fee, 500 power. When this comes to play, you may put the top 3 cards of your library in the waiting room. So you either put 3 or you put 0. When this dies, pay 1, drop a card from hand, send this to memory. And if you do, search your library for a character with either animal or hero trait and add it to your hand.
What do I want to say about this card?
It's
I want to
playable.
It's a playable card. I don't know if you have a better drop searcher in the set.
Okay. That's exactly what I wanted to talk about. The alternative to this is when it's sent to waiting room, pay 1 discard, search for an animal or hero.
Okay, then this is basically better.
This,
I mean,
like, the mill is good,
this one,
and being
yeah.
500 power is really good because then
being
you
500
don't really
puts
get.
you under, I think, the lowest powered clock bomb I can think of, which is 1,000.
Yeah, you avoid clock and stock bombs, where the other one is 1500.
And it searches hero and animal.
Yeah, it searches what you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah, so it searches everything in your deck.
So I want to just make a little note. This card has a weird sub-theme going on with a whole bunch of characters that aren't that
Yeah.
great. I
Yeah.
think you can just play this card by itself and ignore those
Yeah.
cards if you want.
I mean, like,
This
I've played
card
with
is fine.
I've played with these kind of memory searcher profiles before. The biggest issue with playing them is that because they have to be reversed, they're really awkward sometimes when your opponents just refuse to reverse them because they're level 0s and they can decide them for days. And sure,
Or
you
when
have
they
like,
shoot them.
or they have like a kill at level 0 or a clock or stock bomb. So it's like they get kind of awkward. The fact that it's 500 power is actually super duper good when it means that you can't get clock and stock bombed. It makes you a little bit more vulnerable to like attack on Titan, for instance, where they can just drop the 0/0 levy and say, ha, minus 500 instead.
Yeah,
But,
you get totally wrecked by Green Rewrite.
But like,
Such a relevant matchup.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, of the decks that you'd be like concerned with running this card, it's basically just attack on Titan, and in that case, you just offensively.
Monogatari next year will also have like Keto to ruin your day.
That's assuming
Yeah.
Monogatari doesn't get like Disgaea-tude. Or I guess
Hopefully
Nisekoi-tude
still
now.
can't get this guy too.
Nisekoi-tude now. I guess that's our most
It's
apt.
all gotten, it already got Nisei Monogatari'd. You can't get much worse.
Oh,
Like, I don't know. I'm going to say that this card is good because I just think it's strictly better than a card that people already played.
my point on
Is it?
most drop searchers.
I think it's better, maybe not strictly better, because strictly better kind of doesn't really
Let's not
exist.
say strictly better. Strictly better is not a good term.
Well-
Yeah, strictly better also, it's like a
There are
misnomer.
terms where strictly better is relevant. There are times. I don't think this is one of them because
I
the-
don't think like Oh, that's like a totally different debate, but strictly better like happens so few,
Yeah, so
like
rarely.
so infrequently.
But there are times where you'd want to have the on waiting room send because it means that you can just play over it to get the instant search. Where
Yeah, but that just feels so crappy.
I mean, it is crappy, but like when you have to do it, you have to do it, and that can win you a game sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the original, the coup searcher, that's the to waiting room one. I don't think that card is good at all. But I can see myself playing this one at least because it gets hosed by different, less common stuff.
Yeah. I put this as
All
playable.
right.
I put most drop
I
searches as playable unless they also do some other heinous crap.
I don't
Hey
think
man,
this
Mill
card is
3
like
is really good.
this is one of those cards you cut down to two or one when you need to make room. So I don't think I can give this a good rating.
I mean, I run a very similar card in Roaches because I don't have any other options, but also just because it's like a pretty solid card in Roaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still can't give this card a good rating. It's fine, but it's not super amazing.
Yeah. It's just playable for me.
Spoiler, I'm gonna rate everything good because this is my favorite set.
Doge days.
This is why there are 4 doges in each of the corners. Next up, Adele the Hero King.
I lied, I hate this card.
Wonderful. She is a 105k with the hero and weapon trait. At the start of your encore step, if story
So,
of
next-
hero and princess, which is which
Good
climax?
job, part of the cards.
It's a yellow stock soul.
Okay, so
Yes.
on climax con with the yellow stock soul, if this is in the front row, you may sack another character, and then search your library for up to one character that shares at least one trait with the character you sacked, and then put that into your hand. That's
This is the
interesting.
gimpiest version of Time Machine ever.
That's pretty interesting. So it's not a plus in the most traditional sense.
It's a plus if you're going to ram the card in.
It's a plus if they used a backup to reverse one of your characters.
Yeah.
'Cause that's definitely what they're going to do.
This is like one of those cards. Well, at least it's like the traits are fine. I mean, I'd be like super like sad if it was like, I don't know, weapon. What would be a terrible trait that's in this set? Weapon book.
Book. I don't think that exists.
Becky's book.
No, the book is a trait in the set, but I mean, like, I don't think a character has weapon and book.
No, I don't think so.
That would be.
I want to just clarify something about this card. So, even though auto effects all prime at the beginning of the encore step in this case, you can't have two Adeles sack each other. You need to have a third character on the field because reasons. Just trust me.
That's horrible.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's
it's
even a
just
card
not
with
a great-
diminishing returns.
Yeah, like you need to like. Firstly, you can't put a card like the fee we just talked about to the waiting room because it is now in memory.
Well, that's also happening at the combat step as opposed to the encore step, so
Yeah, which
Okay,
means it's
you know
not
what?
on the field anymore.
Fine. This is when you would play the coup over the feet.
to be fair, you could sack back row characters though.
I was about to say, this is where you play the coup over the fee, because then you can sack it, get its ability anyway, just get it a little earlier than you expected, and get a quote-unquote plus out of it.
You could
But-
you could sack back row characters with this effect though. Not that you would really want to, but you could.
Eh.
Eh.
I just don't think this card is good.
I agree.
I
I don't think
agree
this card is...
as
Like,
well.
why would you play this card? There's not even any great level level 1 yellow cards anyway.
And like another problem I have is the like Theo clause, I guess I want to call it. Like where you have to match the trait of what you sack. That's kind of weird for me in a deck that the like with every expansion the
With split traits,
are
it's very
getting more
awkward.
muddled.
Yeah, with split traits it gets very awkward.
Mm.
I guess I'm putting this in
don't think this...
niche, maybe. Like, I think if you want to run this, you got to have like a really strict and well thought out deck plan.
The really well thought out deck plan will be to open up your front row and take more damage, because that's what this card is actually doing.
I guess
Yeah,
that's true.
it's-
You can make an
it's
argument
bad.
for actually bad because you're just taking more damage.
I think it's bad. Don't write niche.
I think I have to rate this card bad because it's just not. It doesn't do very much. It forces you to sack a character other than this one. This character probably being the one most likely to die, or you're sacking a clock encore, which I suppose is fine, clocking yourself for advantage. But even with that,
That's honestly whatever because like there are probably hopefully still better ways of getting advantage than that. I mean I'd almost just use the main phase clock myself to get a card from my clock and just move
yeah,
on.
see, that's the thing. Like you're already hitting yourself with the coup. This card is not helping your cause.
Why can't this just be
This
the
is
writer from Unlimited Blade Works?
which writer?
It's
The bar
basically like
combo, right?
the same card, but it's with a bar, and because it's Rider deck, you're gonna actually reverse
Well,
something.
because you're talking about
You're
yes,
gonna
yes,
run in, you're
yes.
running your Akatsuki's in, and then you're gonna sack them
Yes,
for value.
that card is
Yeah.
actually worthwhile in that deck because that rider goes from like 5k base to like 8k by the time you're done.
Yeah, which is like really good, but this just doesn't have those synergies.
Mm.
Yeah, you can't even pump it with the Leos because it's not an animal trait. So
I just don't think there's a deck in this series that wants this card, and that's why I can't give it anything more than bad.
I mean, you can make a shitty deck.
I
You
Well,
can
mean,
make like mono yellow pastelage.
I have a couple of shitty decks.
if we talked waifu decks on this show, then every single card would be at least playable.
No,
That's fine, but I do know a guy who would probably run this card just because he would be just searching for yellow cards and just
Good for
throwing whatever
him.
yellow cards. Yeah, it's a poor example, but like I think this card is bad in a meta context
sure.
Sure.
or in like a competitive context.
So
Shall we move on?
yeah. With that, we're moving on to another card. It's 1/1. It's
Rebecca
3k power, so it's a
Heroes.
back row.
So this is a 1/1, yeah, 1/1 3K hero book trait. Your other character in the front row center slot cannot be targeted by opponent effects, so it can't be bounced, can't be anti-changed, can't be anti-damaged. Assist, all your characters with either hero or royalty in front of this gains plus X, so yellow-green characters mostly. And clock shifts level 1.
So playable in my book. It's something I'd want to have in general, just because making things hexproof is super good right now. The
My
level one
main and you know,
level one
no, go.
level assist is okay. I've played with decks that had that effect. Honestly, it doesn't really do that much.
But like, so
It works really well with the
it works with the early play.
other Rebecca that's in the set.
Like, this card is good to me. Well, maybe not like don't put good, put playable for me. But I like this card because hexproof is a good effect to give. Level 1, level assist is whatever. And then shift gives you more access to this card without running more copies of it.
This is true because
Yeah,
you can just
I
clock it
think
from your waiting room.
yeah, you summed it up pretty well. I know you can't because what if they level you up?
Clock
Well,
encore.
Oh yeah,
Clock
I guess
Encore on
that's true.
defense.
So like you'd have to like just make sure you're not at 6 when you want to do it, or if you are at
Yeah.
6, you have a second clock encore, so you can just set it up anyways.
Yeah, I honestly think this card is fine. I wouldn't run more than, well, I personally wouldn't run more than one because
I'd
I
play
like
one.
one-offs.
One of the things about having this as your one of your shift targets is that it makes it less costly to put your 0/0 coup into your clock by just shifting it in by swapping with this. So you could like save a damage by running additional shift cards in your deck to set up the early play, which is sometimes good.
This card is it's just very serviceable. It lets you attack into anti-damage series without fear. It gives you a decent amount of power, and it does support your clock kick because I'm pretty sure Leo's royalty trait. It's only Milky who has the retarded traits, right?
Milhi is animal music. Like all the
Music, right?
yeah, music.
Oh,
All the
dear.
red stuff is like animal and then some weird off trait. But the green, like the cats, they're animal royalty. And then yellow, like Ku is
It's
animal
hero.
royalty. But then Ku supports heroes. That's
Yep.
when it gets a little weird again, but at least like yellow and green work very well together.
Yeah, this
That's what I'm
seems like a
getting at.
perfectly fine card. I'd put it as playable.
Yeah, this is
Alright,
how many copies do you want to run?
one.
Next,
Bad.
this is pretty bad.
Valeri, the Demon King, he's a guy, so they're immediately saying he's bad. Assist, he's a 00500 animal royalty, assist 500, and recollection. If the memory searcher fee is in your memory, this gains the ability to tap to pump something for 1k. The ability to just have assist 500 and then tap give 1k is actually really good in a lot of series, but I don't think it's necessary here.
I agree. I
You
feel
can't really spare the back row room or the deck room
Sure.
on this, like, assist, I think.
I think my issue with it is that if you wanted to run a card with this kind of profile, you could make a smaller deck building concession and just run more animal level 1 cards and just go Leo.
Yeah, that's what I think. Leo is just better than this card in general.
Well, yeah, Leo has another ability.
So
Well,
I'm putting
Leo
this
doesn't give
as,
passive 500.
This
This card is niche, in my opinion.
I'm putting it
it's
at
not bad.
bad because I don't think having that reliance on another card warrants adding this to your deck, especially when you're not running 4 of the memory searcher. Like that's not a
this
good
card-
pick.
This
Which-
card's ceiling is quite decent.
Yeah, but its floor is you spent 2 to 3 slots putting a 0/0 frontal 500 into your deck that does nothing else.
I think it's
suppose.
bad. Like, so my problem from like a deck building perspective is that this is pretty low on the priority of back rows I want to run, like regardless of how I'm taking my build.
That's totally fair.
Like, it's just there's other cards that do better things.
I can accept that argument, but I still think the ceiling's high enough for me not to give it a terrible rating.
That's fine, but I just all I'm saying is I would never play it.
I don't think I would play this card either.
Though I
fair.
do play bad cards, so
With that, we can move on to number 7.
Fee, the hero princess. She's a 105,000. When displaced from hand to stage, gains X power, where X is 100 times the number of animal or hero traits you have. This card's kind of bad because there's no way. It's unsupported. Like every other version of this card, except the SAO2 one, is supported either with Bond or something else like that. This one's just the 1075 for a turn. Does it
it's
do anything else?
no, not really. It's a decent card profile, like the effect, but I just don't think it has a place.
I'm in
Am
the
I
same boat. It's
alone on?
hello.
Hello?
I think he's
we can
breaking
hear you.
up.
Am I breaking up?
I think you're breaking up slightly.
Oh, neat.
Well, we will continue on. I think the card
Yeah,
is.
go on without me if you have to.
I think the card is niche. I think the card is acceptable in some circumstances. It does get fairly huge if you're running Leo because it is animal trait, so you can get it over something pretty quickly.
Yeah, but I don't know. If you're running a more animal-based deck, the 500 for each other Gaul is probably just better.
And then you also have bombs in Red.
Yeah.
There's also the 1/0 leaf, which gets 1/5 whenever another animal or hero attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that card is just better than this one because it ends up being 7k with a good climax combo.
Mhm.
And it's also the relevant traits.
In general, I also think this effect is kind of iffy because it's another one of those diminishing return effects where the more of them you have in your hand at any given moment, the less effective the card is.
Yeah, so you'd never run more than like 2 of them anyway.
Like, this is a card, like, I've just kind of thrown them into decks when I've needed just a couple more slots at level 1. It's
I played
okay,
this in
but
Kirito Waifu.
it's nothing I would seek out because of its effect. I would seek it out if it had other card interactions as well.
I'm just putting it at niche. You might need filler, and
I'd say niche.
like this is an acceptable filler card. I don't think it's going to
Is-
be the go-to filler card, but it's definitely acceptable.
I think it's playable. It's not like you need a specific deck to support this. You can just put it in any deck that runs yellow. It's just not super good.
I feel
I think
like
it's fine.
I don't think it's worth the slots most of the time.
That's so fair. Um,
Well, we'll just move on with that.
sure.
I don't think there's much to say about that card profile, anyways.
Adele,
It gets big.
uh, that translation can't be right. It's Adele. Uh, I'm just gonna say gun-wielding hero princess.
Not Gun of Hero Princess.
I'm not. Yeah, no. It's a 2-1-1-5. It's a hero weapon trait. It's a 3K counter, and when you use the counter, you may put one of the memory searches from your memory into the bin. And if you do, all of your animal and hero traits gain character encore for the turn. It's pretty terrible.
Okay. So, one thing I do want to say about this card, there's a card from Idolmaster 2. It's a Mommy double R that has basically the same effect. You dump, I think it's Lucky Rabbit, like one of the events from your memory to waiting room to give all your music characters hand encore. And it's a 3K backup, but it doesn't have a soul trigger. But this one does.
Hashtag
And
creeped.
It's been racking my brain why.
Well, clearly events are much easier and more beneficial to use than memory searches, so this one needed a little something to pump it up, right?
Yes.
I was with this card until it got to hand encore.
Yeah, it's hand encore, not even free encore. I can't in good faith recommend this card. It's a
Like-
2-1 counter, so it's always going to be playable, but the
Yeah.
secondary ability may as not exist.
Is there another 2-1 counter in Doge Days anywhere?
There is a green one in the first set. There is a bondable red one in the second set, and then also in the first set, there's
event?
there's a scaling counter.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm gonna say that this is bad on those bases. Even bondable 2-1 red counter is enough for me to say that I would run that over this.
I'd say this is playable just because it's like
I mean, it's a 2-1 counter with some upside. Ugh.
I'm not even focusing on the other effect. It's just a 2-1 counter.
But in that
Like,
case, I'd rather run a 2-1 counter that does other things.
he's right. That's what I would do as well. Okay, I
Yeah,
can
like the-
justify putting this as bad.
The bondable red counter, like I didn't even play the bond, so
It's,
to me,
the one that
it's
takes-
not it's not a matter of like you didn't play the bond. It's that you have that bond as an accessible reason to run that counter
Well,
over
the red one
another
also
counter.
changes.
the red one
to
changes
level
with a
3, right?
climax combo to a level 3 that is okay.
Climax combo with gate as well, so
Well,
Yeah.
if you're
that's
gonna run
like
the
that's
gate
like a
anyways.
consideration. Well, I don't think you
Sure.
can in the current red-blue deck, but we'll get to that.
But I'm putting this as bad with the
Yeah,
fact that
no,
there are
that's
other
fine.
counters that are worthwhile. I just cannot put this at like playable.
Hmm.
Teru had it at playable. We need
No,
to
I've got it
Yeah.
as bad.
We also got two bad, one playable. This is our biggest discrepancy so far.
Well, like this has the
It is
hero
just a
trait.
2-1.
I'm sure
it is
there's
just
like
a 2-1 counter.
relevance there.
Yeah,
There you
like
go. But
see, the
you
coup
can
will
search it with
support
the
this.
Adele.
No,
The coup will support this.
The Adele that I just called bad has a better chance of searching this, I think, than one of the older counters.
Well, you can't know that for sure. How do you know you're sacking another hero trait?
Because
Especially if you're going to sack the go to waiting room searcher.
Oh, that
That's
is
an
a
animal
good point.
trait.
Oh, but then I'm not running yellow cards for my yellow waifu deck.
moving on now that we've reached waifu discussion.
It's not even waifu discussion, just garbage discussion.
Oh,
so coup,
shots fired.
descendant of the hero king.
Whatever,
It's a
Adele's okay, dude.
2275. And for each of your other hero or royalty traits, this gains 500, so it's usually going to be a 2295. And when displaced from hand to stage, if you've got 4 or more other hero or royalty characters, you may charge 1 stock from your deck.
All right, cool. So you functionally have a 2-1-9-5 two-soul beater. Do you need 2-1-9-5 two-soul beaters?
Well,
I
you
don't-
play a 219K right now.
Yeah, you do play a 219.
Well, this is straight up better than that, probably.
Yeah, if you're running like less to no red stuff, this one is better.
I mean, I doubt you're gonna miss on having. Well, I guess if you're running enough red, you'll miss on royalty.
Level 2s don't fit into Bushiroad's new regime of skip level 2, early play level 3s. So even though this is a great level 2, it's a 2195 with 2 soul
Man,
and
that sounds
relevant
very
traits.
similar to another tome, like to a certain Toma I know.
Well, Tome is a 219k with 2 soul and no
No levels.
levels.
Two
But
Hey,
one
that
level
card
that's
zero.
relevant. That means you can
that,
get it to like 11k on offense.
that card's not even relevant. This card is also likely to not be relevant, but I do think it's playable.
I would put this at playable. If I
I
wasn't,
don't think 9-5 is big enough. That's my only issue with
I
this.
think if I was gonna run something, I'd just
And
pay
pump
the
it with
extra.
Leos.
Yes,
Well, even then, it's only still what?
it's still 11 after the first pump.
12-5?
It's 11
It's
after the first pump.
okay, 11k. That's okay. Like, you can kill an Onodera with that, which is decent. But I still don't think this is worth running over the Rebecca, which will be a
Yeah.
13-5 just by
Yeah,
attacking.
that's where it's awkward.
I
Like,
mean, I'd suck up the extra stock and have a much nicer early play level 3. I don't know.
well,
Yeah.
obviously.
All right. I think this card is playable, but it's a very iffy playable.
Playable.
It's playable,
The
but
card by itself is pretty decent.
I mean, like, waifu decks, right, guys?
no.
Yeah.
Hey,
All
man,
right,
Ku
next
has a
card.
lot of sweet
Next
cards.
card.
I'm just saying, like, Ku has a lot of, like, sweet cards collectively.
All right, we got our event.
Legend of Hero Summoning. 1/0
Forest of
yellow.
Giant Trees.
Yes.
Search your library for up to one animal and up to one hero character. Put them in your hand and drop a card. Put this in clock.
So apparently Bushiroad has decided that 1-0 search 2 ditch 1 or even 1-1 search 2 ditch 1 are fair effects to have now. And
But you have to hit yourself.
yeah, at this moment I'm also partially still complaining about the 2 lover event.
Mm-hmm.
The hitting yourself is funny, but then you can just also add this back to your hand that turn if you wanted to just do it again.
Yeah, but then you're hitting yourself again if you're using the Ku.
You're hitting yourself 3 times to like do some serious hand fixing. Probably
I
not worth.
I think it's a playable card because I think the effect is very good.
I
But I
wouldn't
don't think I
actually
would
use it for
play
that
it.
interaction.
I'm worried about playing a card like this when you already have a one cost clock yourself plussing engine.
Yeah, that's fair too. I'm worried about playing a card like this when, like, your main game plan might be swing with a bunch of 5k power things and then sack your whole field.
But that's not ever going to happen because we're not playing that card.
We're not.
Oh,
That's not a
fine.
good thing.
Look, I'm just saying, like, I like the card. I think it's a good effect, but I don't think I would play this card.
I think it's a
Yes.
perfectly playable card.
I think it's playable as well. It's
Very playable.
fine. It's fine. I'd like it more if it was one cost and you didn't have to punch yourself.
Well, yeah, then it would be, like, really good.
Then it would be like to Loveru and it would be hilarious.
I don't even think the Telavri version's that good.
It's awkward in 2 Loveru because your levels are so segregated as to what goes where.
It's awkward because you already have everything you want in your hand.
I guess. But it's fine. And with that, we get to all the climaxes, so we can just jump straight to green.
Yep. So the first card in green. This is my first card that I've labeled as meta. It's a
Card
Nanami.
is, like, extreme meta.
Yeah, it's a Nanami, naive and
yes.
romantic. 1k only.
Oh,
It
wait.
is a runner, so at the beginning of your opponent's attack step, you may move this to an empty slot in the front row. And if you're level 1 or higher, you can swap this card with a Nanami Hero's Rest in your clock, which is a 1/1 7k clock encore.
Yeah, this card is
just
good.
super good. It's super good. It gets
Castle's-
completely bodied by any anti-runner. But aside from that, it's
Sure,
just
but,
super
like,
good.
Here's the thing, though. It's like, to me, it doesn't really matter if it dies, because the Nanami it becomes, or changes into, it's not change, but that it becomes, it's still a 1/1 7k clock encore, and I don't feel like I'm I don't feel like I'm in a bad position if I'm paying one stock for that.
You do have to check though, and it might come in tapped.
Yeah, but it checks for climax. It's not like your own traits are gonna fuck you.
Oh, it's gonna happen at some point.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
think
happen
this
at
is
some point, but that's whatever. Like I don't
this
think
card is
that's
great though.
I think this card alone, just being a costless runner, a conditionless costless runner, is already good. Like I thought they stopped printing this archetype, and then they just printed this archetype.
They printed
um
in Guilty Crown's comeback campaign.
Yeah, and I
yeah.
assumed that would be special case for comeback campaign for old set.
No. Mill
But
runners are really strong too, though. Milling is just
Mill
good,
is great too, but conditionalist runners have the great benefit of never missing.
I suppose. This card, it's ironic that a green card is what makes you want to jump ship from an animal-centric deck, but I think this is what'll do it.
I
I
agree.
I'm gonna say this is also getting the meta rating. Just conditionalist runners are just great
It's
always.
super good. It lets you change into a super good level one, and it's well supported. What can I say?
Okay. Like the biggest thing to take away is that it remains relevant past level 0.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah,
which is
like
very uncommon for runners.
unless you're just sitting runners in the back row to mill damage every turn.
Well, sure, but that's whatever. The only other runners off the top of my head that have uses are like the Kirito because it can pump stuff, and then the Azusa if you want to top check in Idolmaster. Like otherwise, runners don't really do anything.
mm, I have to agree.
Yeah,
Any runner that does something into the late game is just a really good card.
so good card.
Yeah. Next
Also,
card.
it's a Nanamizuki SP, so rip me.
Have fun with that.
I won't.
So, Leo, Pomp, what are we gonna do on the bed? 3295 for each of your other animal or hero cards. This gains 500 power, so it's 11.5. 2 cost when displaced from hand to stage. If you do, choose a character in your clock and add it to your hand, and put the top card of your library in clock. And 1 cost during the turn this is placed from hand to stage. When the battle opponent is reversed, you may pay the 1 cost. If you do, put that character into clock.
So this is very similar to Rider, the Alexander
Yes.
from Fate Zero,
Which is a
except
good card.
which is
It's-
a great card by the way.
So similar in that they're both 11/5. They're both pay 1 clock kicks, and they both have this third line of text you probably won't use ever.
Yeah, basically that. The issue with the Rider Clock Kicker is that it specifically looks at opponents' rested characters, which means that if you have multiple, they actually get worse because you lose 500 power every time you clock kick or kill a thing.
Yeah.
And that's assuming they even tap their back rows to do anything that turn. So I like this Leo better than that Rider, and that Rider is good.
Yeah, this card is just really good. You can treat that middle ability as not existing. It's basically a 11.5 come and play 1 cost clock kick,
Yeah.
which
The
is super
Becky,
good.
the Becky Shroud or Hexproof assist also supports this because it's royalty, which is good because clock kickers like power.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so happy when they spoiled this card. Like I was freaking out.
This card is really good in general. And if you have infinite stock for some reason, hey, get another one or something.
Well, getting another one won't get you a clock kick, but you could
It puts it to your hand, so you have to pay a lot of stock, but you can do it again. You can just play it.
oh shit, it goes to your hand. I thought it was a clock summon.
No,
My bad.
no.
Just a pretty solid card.
It's a
That's funnier.
it's a
than...
pay 2 plus from clock.
Oh, also like Becky can boost this up 4K. Like this has a lot of good things going for it with yellow, I think.
It's really good.
Yeah, I just think it's a good card. Good meta even.
I would say meta. This makes me want to play Dog Days again. Like, seriously play Dog Days. Not play it every couple months and cry about how much I spent on my cards.
That's the best part of Weiss.
It is not the best part of Weiss. Do you know how much I spent on my Milhi level 3s? And now they're probably just going to go down even more.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, it's whatever. People don't need to hear me complain.
Next.
What just happened to my... Okay, next card is Leaf Langdeshahava. I butchered that, I'm sure. 1/04K, Animal Royalty. When another animal or hero card attacks, this gains 1/5 for the turn. So once two others attack, it becomes a 7K. And when the battle opponent is reversed, if Guidance, which is the bar climax, is in your climax zone, you may choose a card in your clock and add it to your hand. If you do, clock your top deck.
I like this card.
I think this card is really good, aside from like situations where you're playing multiple of it.
At 2, it's still okay. It's
At 2, it's okay, but even at 2, I think
at 2 you're at 6/5 and 8K.
it really depends what your opponent is running.
But
like,
it is
if it's-
animal.
It's animal, which is good. It's royalty, which is good.
So like you definitely can pump it to the point where it's like probably not going to fail to reverse.
It's also a bar, which is good. Like
I love the bar combo part. This is a good card for me. As looking at this set so far, and I don't remember seeing anything much better. This is probably my favorite plussing combo, especially because you can set up the clock, sort of.
it's your best option because for level 1 plussing climax combos, there is a pay 1 on attack from the first set, where you pay 1, you add a card from your clock to your hand, and then clock yourself.
Fun.
Like, that's really the only other choice you have. But that's with a 2K one, which is kind of eh.
Yeah, I like this card. I think it's good. I'm giving it a good
Agreed.
rating.
I think he's
I
pretty
think it's
sweet.
good. It's a good card.
This is a card I will be playing, so I hope it's good.
That puts us to the next card then.
Oh man, I totally missed two cards in my notes. The next card is Gaul, being aggressive, 2175. If Pomp Leo is in your clock, the level 3, this gains -1 level in your hand. And when this attacks, if Duel in the Sky Sea is in the climax zone, choose one of your other characters in this character, and they gain 1/5 power and stop your opponent from playing backups, so character counters from hand.
Okay, so if you have the level 3 in your clock at level 1, which is not unreasonable, it's a 1/1. The climax combo to give characters power and not backup is pretty good at level 1 as well, I guess. I mean, it doesn't stop the events at level 1, and I dislike that it's on climax combo. It's very similar to the 2/1 from Attack on Titan, the 2/1 Levy. That requires you to have full field.
Sure. I don't think this card is good.
I'm going down the line of I didn't like the Levy, and I don't like this card either.
It's just like, I don't want that climax combo. Like, that's not a climax combo I would actively seek out. Especially, like, when we just talked about a pretty good climax combo at level 1.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't see myself running this, and as a personal note, I just don't like 2/1s in general.
I don't like 2/1s that are undersized once you get to level 2 and barely oversized when you're at level 1.
The issue is at 2/1, you're still paying 1 stock to compete with, I don't know, 1/1 9K Unbombables.
Yeah, buddy.
I mean, at least with the climax combo, you're over with the pump and another pump from your back row, and they can't counter you.
Oh. Well, if they're a
yes.
level 2, they can command seal.
Oh yeah.
It's a really good cleaner. I'm not going to deny that, but I'm not convinced.
It's just gonna say it's niche. It's probably not worth the deck building space, but you could definitely put it there if you wanted to.
Waifu.
Sure.
No, niche. Niche is kind of like a nice way of saying waifu. Or no, waifu is the nice way of saying niche.
More or less. More or less. That was the original intention of that rating.
Uh, sure. We'll say lychee also says niche, even though he hasn't given us a rating.
Uh, yeah, it's niche. Like, you're gonna play to level 3, but I don't think this is that great.
Yeah.
Alright, I had the wrong number up for most of that, so people will get confused, but whatever.
Hopefully they
Vert,
can see the
least
picture.
relative. So this is 0015, animal weapon trait. Discard a card from hand when you play this to the stage, and if you do, choose a character in your clock with animal or hero and add it to your hand. Then clock yourself.
Smells like trouble, boys.
I when I first saw
That
that
pun
cost,
can
I was...
just stop right now.
This ability activates up to once a turn. When you play an event, choose a character. That character gains 1k for the turn. So that ability is not particularly relevant. The first ability started off with an incredibly scary looking cost and then ended perfectly fine. Like, it's not a Katsuki.
It's not a Katsuki. This effect is way more heinous in Two Lover, where it's attached to a brainstormer.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily the effect being heinous. That's just that.
This is the
individual
profile
icon being
in combination being
stupid.
just, why is this real? Free hand fix on a brainstormer. What?
I think this card's good.
This card is pretty decent.
I'm putting it
it's
at playable.
a discard outlet.
Yeah, like playable.
It's-
Like when I say good, I don't necessarily mean like
It is a playable
good.
disc. Like, it's a free out, which is the main reason why I'd run it. I don't think the event pump is ever going to be that relevant unless you're using the
Like-
bodyguard, I guess, and looping.
Okay, so Dog Days has had this thing of just printing events and having these cards that interact with events, and just having all the events and the cards related like be terrible. So I don't know what that's about.
It's playable for me. I think we're all in agreement on this.
I would play it just for the first effect, though.
Yeah, I think the first effect is just a pretty solid
Yeah,
effect.
pretty much.
It's like a super
So-
limited drop search effect, which is fine by me.
It should be noted, though, that there is another sort of out sort of dealy. There's another card that's discard a climax to salvage a character later on in the set.
Also good. But
Yeah, so like, both good cards.
oh man, I'm missing a card. I didn't download a card. Okay, I'll go find that card while we talk about this.
So we're talking
Um,
about the 1/1 now.
So wait, are we on the goal brainstorm or are we on the...
We're on the Gull brainstorm.
Yep. So
Uh,
it's a 0015
I
animal...
need to find the image so we can put it up. Okay, you know what? Let's just go to the next card and then come back to this.
It's a great video to still have up. So it's a shift level 0 green and brainstorm 1 cost tap only this. The fact that it only taps itself is actually pretty relevant.
yeah.
Flip over the top 4 cards and for each climax choose a card and clock, add it to hand, and clock your top deck.
It's good. Like, I wasn't totally sold on this until I realized it only tapped itself, and that's pretty relevant because in a deck with green, it is possible you are running Leo, and
Yeah.
where the other plussing brainstorm they introduced in the set is tap 2, which makes
the
Leo
milky
kind of
white.
awkward. Yep.
Mhm.
So this is that going for it. It also has shift, which is
Sweet.
like a sweet effect.
All right,
Yeah,
the panic
it
is
is very
over.
sweet effect.
I have made the card appear on the screen. Yes, I mean, if you're running Leo, this is probably going to be your brainstorm. I guess.
Well, the other
Shift is
brainstorm is just better, I think, but this like plays better with Leo.
yeah. This plays better with Leo. What's the other brainstorm do?
Salvage.
Salvage, and then 500 to a character when one of your characters is reversed.
I think I'd still run that, even if it taps 2.
It just gets weird because
Sometimes you
To
need the
me-
pump. Sometimes you really need the pump from the Leo, and you need to brainstorm.
yeah,
Or
and
you
I don't want to
want
be
to
put in
pay
those
one.
situations.
You might want to pay 1 to plus with the coup.
Yeah, that too. This plays better with the coup as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think this is actually the better brainstorm to run, simply because it doesn't screw with the rest of your back row. But I think the other brainstorm is more powerful.
Yeah. Well, I think like they're both better in specific decks, but I
I
think
think
this
this
one
one's
is
better in most decks.
well, yeah. When I say specific decks, I mean the the red one is probably better for a red base deck or the red blue deck, which
The red one has what
I have no
traits?
opinions on. It's music
Okay,
animal.
well that's the issue, I guess, for me is that I think hero royalty is a little bit more relevant in yellow and green at the moment.
Well,
Mm.
it is.
So I think the being animal music kind of hurts it.
I don't think it hurts it that much because you can salvage anything. Um,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's not like
that
you're.
that doesn't actually make a difference. It's just whether you
Yeah.
want salvage with a double tap or if you want a far less useful range of search options with only single tap.
I mean, one of the nice things about double tap brainstormers is that if you have a lot of hand for some reason and not a lot of climaxes, you can just dump hand to reduce damage taken, which is an option that this card doesn't let you have. But
Hmm.
regardless, I think this is still pretty playable. I wouldn't say it's like necessarily like gets the good rating,
I think it's good.
I think it's
Definitely good
good
card.
too.
but like
Like
I don't know.
the
Maybe I'm just used to like really heinous brainstormers right now.
I think
okay,
you are. This
so
card is fine.
any sort of context will like previously the only brainstorm Dog Days had was a spammable plus soul. The brainstorm that was off
Rebecca.
trait, and
Dear
that
God.
was a 3K the turn you played it. Like it's just not great.
It was also SP. Remember those SPs you bought?
Yeah, I'd have two.
Dear God.
Doesn't it make you happy?
Yeah, it makes me happy that I foiled the deck out once, and it's going to make me happy when I do it again, and then they don't release a season 4, and I can stop spending money on this stupid fucking set.
I'm still very surprised this got a third booster, not gonna
I'm
lie.
still waiting for Index
It
Season
just
3 like the rest of us.
Well, like, to be fair, I'm surprised it got a third season because I think sometime in 2011, like 2011 or 2012, like they were like, okay, we're gonna start working on the third season, and then it came out this year. Like things looked very grim for me.
Well, I think I'm living in heinous brainstorm land where this card gets a playable rating instead of a good rating, but it's
Go
still
play Rewrite.
Definitely.
it's still like completely fine.
Rewrite doesn't have a plus in brainstorm.
Yeah, but Rewrite has a heinous brainstorm. I think the
It has
Akane
a
is
pretty
heinous.
rude brainstorm. Nanami, Hero's Rest, 117k. When it's placed from hand to stage, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a climax card, tap this. And Clock Encore, choose a character in your waiting room with either animal or hero and put it on the bottom of your clock.
So yeah, we already kind of went over this with the runner. This is the target.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's a
If-
good card.
It's a good card. If you do the change because it's not being played from hand to stage, it does not check. So
Correct.
that is one reason you want to use the runner in. Well, that's one reason why this card is good with the runner.
This is the big reason the runner is good.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
you also get to pay no stock and not even hurt yourself to get a 1/1 clock encore with 7k power onto play.
Though I do want to point out still, just like the point of you whiffing is pretty low. Point chance, whatever.
Depending on
Um,
compression, it can be anywhere from like 12% to 25% chance of getting really sad.
Sure, but I'm not too worried about it because like when I'm going to be playing this is probably like right when I hit level 1, where I'm probably not god compressed.
I do want to note that this card is really good with the Gore Brainstorm because you can shift a 1/1 from your hand into clock,
Yes.
and then it comes onto the field for free.
I mean, you can also just clock it to draw 2 cards.
But what if this is what you drew off the clock?
I mean, then you're making plays.
I mean, that's like the best part about shift cards in general, though, is the fact that you can just clock them with no recourse, and then in this set in particular, there's upside.
And then, like, you don't really look like a douchebag because you could just play it off to your opponent that you didn't sack them.
Anyways, if this card didn't have that interaction, this would be a playable card for me. With that interaction, it's still playable, but it's on the top end of playable.
I think it's good.
Yeah,
Did
I
you-
agree. I think this is good. Like, I don't want
Like-
to give this the meta rating because this isn't the reason. This isn't meta, but it helps make the runner into what I would call a meta draw.
Well, yeah, but that's the point, though. Like, they should be kind of rated with the other in mind.
Mm,
Because we all know Bushiro definitely does that.
absolutely.
Bushiro definitely keeps other cards in mind when they're designing them.
Yes, yes, they do.
Obviously, they have to. How else would Resonance even work?
So next card, Leo Lions match. This is 003k. If your opponent has 2 or fewer front row characters, it gains 1k power. And when displaced from hand to stage, you have to tap a standing character. So you have nothing on the stage when you play this. It has to be tapped.
Ooh,
There is
question.
already a 4k unbombable Leo, isn't there?
There's a 4K unbombable Leo, but why are you playing oversizes when you should just be, like, swagging out
Playing
with
the
runners?
runner.
Yeah.
Waifu deck.
I think in this particular case, I'm going to give it a bad rating because the runner exists.
It's
I'm going to give it a
bad.
bad rating because there's a 4k that already beats it, and it's even the same character in the same color.
There's multiple good oversizes in Dog Days already. Like,
Yeah,
this
the coup
card just isn't good.
3.5.
that coup is
best,
so rude.
the best oversize is the coup because it's yellow, whereas this is green, which makes it outclassed by both other good green standalone level zeros. This card's just not good. It's bad.
Alrighty.
But she has a
Uh,
cute little bow
Does she? Oh,
around
oh,
her waist.
neat. Jawn, Searching the Sky Sea, 1045. When another character is placed from stage to clock, choose a character to gain 3k power. So this is a gimpy-ass combo with the runner, I think.
I think this is just bad. It's like a bad, weird gimmick.
I think it's
Yeah.
bad, honestly.
I think I wrote some notes about it working in funny ways with the clock kick, but the clock kick doesn't even like play to field like I thought it did. So whoops.
It's also the other way around, even if you did think it was that way. A card needs to go from field to clock, not the other way around. Not when card comes to field from clock.
Oh god, that's even weirder.
Like,
I don't read well, man. Like I play Japanese because I can't even read English that well, so it's like no loss.
I'm giving it a bad.
I'll give it a bad. I would never
don't
want to
think-
play this.
There's just not room for it. I
So-
don't think there's a place for this card anywhere.
Moving on. 2-1.
Noir, Gaul's
Noir.
personal guard. It's a 2-1-3-5. All characters, all animal and hero characters in front of this gain 1/5 power.
Guys, it's Noir NG from Foreign.
Oh.
This is that stupid clock bomb character, right?
It's the clock bomb, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I know her as.
So this isn't good. Like you have a level assist that has like really sweet text on it. So I don't think you really need just a flat 1500 power assist.
I think I'd rather run the yellow 1/1 that has shift and gives center slot hexproof and is still a level assist.
That's exactly what I said.
Yes.
This isn't level assist. This is better than level assist.
Yes, this
It's-
is objectively better than level assist. It's from
It's-
2015,
The
but
other level assists have better text on it in addition to the support.
yeah,
That's yes.
yeah.
Like this is a vanilla assist. It's 2015. It's nearly 2016. Why are we printing vanilla assists?
Because they hate you.
I think it's bad. I think it's just outright outclassed by level assist. Even if it's less power, 500 power is not usually the backbreaker in those decks.
Mm.
Yeah. Also, like shoutouts to Hana Kanazawa.
Kana Hanazawa.
Nope, Hana Kanazawa.
Okay, fine.
Zana Kanahawa.
Next card, Lion Princess's match. This is a 1-0 counter. If there are 6 or more cards in your stock, you can't play this. Search your deck for no. Look it up the top 4
It's
cards of your library
on
and
counter.
search for up to
Yeah.
1 character with either animal, hero trait, and add it to your hand. Put the rest in the waiting room.
It's a cool
Them
counter.
cameras, though.
Yep, it's Chihaya's camera on counter. It's
But you
Shunketsu
can't
on
play it
counter.
with 6 or more stock.
Oh
It's-
no!
That's a really weird, like, condition to me. But, like...
So basically, if you're winning, you
hey,
can't
having a
use
lot of
this
stock
card.
doesn't mean you're winning. I play
I mean, okay,
Execution.
sorry. If your stock is clean,
I mean, like, Milky Holmes, Phantom Thieves have this counter, but with a different condition.
I
It's
think
like
they need a certain
you
number of
need-
characters on field.
You need 1 or more climaxes in waiting room, I think.
Oh,
or
sure.
2 or more.
Yeah,
Like,
something like that.
anyway, this is just kind of like the condition, like, really kills it for me because I like stock.
I don't know
I
how
do too.
often you're gonna have more than 6 stock in your
Late game,
Well,
you probably
late
often
game. You'll
will.
definitely have it, right? But at
You're
level
gonna want to
one,
mill.
at level 1, depending on how much you're using your Takatsubo, basically, you
Yeah.
might still be able to just use this event anyways.
Well, I see when you could use the event, but I just don't think I want to play it either.
I would give it a niche rating, but
It's probably niche. It's
I don't-
kind of cute with the 0/0 vert that gives power when you play an event.
no.
I don't know. I said cute, not good.
It's niche for me. I think it's serviceable given circumstances, which is the definition of niche.
Yeah,
I'm going with niche, just because I don't think the card's bad, but I don't think I'm going to play it like ever.
it's niche.
Alrighty. So, we have spent an hour on the first half of an extra booster. We'll be right back with the second half. Because that is all the green.